Hi everyone. Today, we'll guide you through a quick benchmark between Sprint TV's AI CV Parser and Textkernel's parsing solution. We use both parsers on our web interface and want to show you the differences between them and how you can use both effectively. We'll be analyzing the results of parsing 5 different CVs using our Sprint CV platform with both parsers. The first CV we'll test is in the Digit TM2 format, which is known for its length and technical complexity and is usually very challenging to parse. What we notice first is that the Textkernel parser failed to capture most, if not all, of the candidate's experience, as well as the projects and tech stack. On the other hand, the AI CV parser seems to capture everything in detail. Additionally, we observe the absence of a CV summary on the right, whereas it is present in the AI parsing result. As we observed, the Textkernel result does not include many of the skills listed in the original CV. Since it failed to correctly identify the years of experience in the various professional experiences, this omission is expected. It only captured the skills related to the experiences it managed to recognize. In contrast, the AI CV parser successfully captured every skill in the tech stack, along with the current numbers of years of experience. Similarly, Textkernel did not parse the educational details correctly. It categorized everything under trainings but misinterpreted the information. On the other hand, the AI CV parser differentiated between educations and trainings and categorized them accurately. Regarding the languages and their proficiencies, both parsers performed well. We could have guessed from the low number of skills in the tech stack and the limited years of experience shown in the first section that Textkernel did not parse all of the candidate's professional experiences. In fact, it states that the candidate started their career in August 2025, whereas, as correctly identified by the AI CV parser, the career actually began in July 2009. Furthermore, the AI CV parser listed 7 individual professional experiences, while Textkernel captured only 1. Upon reviewing one of the experiences, we noticed that Textkernel placed a general summary of the entire CV within the experience description, making it overly broad and misplaced. In contrast, the AI CV parser captured an accurate, structured, and detailed representation of each experience. All in all, we believe the AI CV parser did a much better job at parsing this CV, providing a completely accurate result and presenting a clear picture of the candidate's career. In contrast, Textkernel struggled with this specific format, failing to parse most of the candidate's professional experience in tech stack, as well as misclassifying the education and training details. The second CV we will use in this benchmark is a Europass CV, which is commonly used in the European Union. This CV is also fairly complex and comprehensive. Let's review the results. At first glance, we notice that the AI CV parser on the left failed to correctly identify the number of years of experience as well as the projects, since the candidate's career began in 2006, not 2009. Textkernel, on the other hand, did a better job by accurately identifying both the career start date and the number of projects. As for the tech stack, both parsers identified the majority of the skills, and while some results may differ, they each did a good job overall. Regarding the education details, the AI CV parser provides a more detailed result, while Textkernel failed to identify the degree correctly. The same issue appears with the language section, where Textkernel did not capture the proficiency levels. However, when it comes to training details, the AI CV parser performed worse. Textkernel's results are more accurate in this area. As we mentioned earlier, Textkernel has an advantage in the professional experiences section for this CV format, as it captured a greater number of experiences compared to the AI CV parser. However, when we open a specific experience, we can see that both parsers did a good job with the general description and the tech stack, even though they present the information in different ways. In conclusion, we believe that Textkernel has a slight edge when it comes to the Europass format, as it captured all the professional experiences and listed the trainings correctly. On the other hand, the AI CV parser performed better in identifying language proficiencies and provides a slightly more complete view of the tech stack. Our third example is a branded company CV template. Since most recruiting companies use their own standardized CV formats, we want to test both parsers with one of these templates to evaluate their performance. Right from the first section, we can see that the AI CV parser performed better than Textkernel. It successfully captured all the years of professional experience as well as all the projects. On the other hand, Textkernel shows a disproportionate number of certifications, which appears inaccurate. Let's analyze each section in more detail. In Tech Stack section, Textkernel captured more skills overall but still missed a few. Meanwhile, the AI CV parser provided the correct number of years of experience for each skill. Given these results, we can consider this section a draw. In the Educational Details section, the AI CV parser correctly identified both courses listed in the original CV, whereas Textkernel captured only one of them and also misidentified the institution. Regarding the Languages section, Textkernel once again performs poorly, failing to identify the user's proficiency levels while the AI CV parser handles this accurately. In the Training Details section, Textkernel delivers a somewhat confusing parsing. It incorrectly interpreted institutions and skills as trainings, thus artificially increasing the number of trainings. On the other hand, the AI-CV parser handled this section perfectly. Most notably, in the Professional Experience section, Textkernel failed to identify the individual experiences, creating only a single entry, whereas the AI CV parser correctly captured all the experiences listed in the original CV. Furthermore, on the right side, we can see that Textkernel collapses the candidate's entire career into one single professional experience, resulting in a lack of clarity. In contrast, the AI CV parser provides a clear and accurate breakdown, with each general description matching the corresponding experience exactly. So in conclusion, we believe the AI CV parser performed significantly better with this CV. Textkernel struggled to parse several critical details, most notably their professional experiences, and also produced a confusing result in the Training Details section. Next, we will analyze the parsing results of a LinkedIn profile CV. This CV is simpler and shorter, but can both parsers handle it least satisfactorily? In the initial section, both parsers produced a similar output. The only notable difference is that Textkernel identified 4 certifications instead of 2, so that's worth keeping in mind. Similarly, the CV summary is identical in both results. Regarding the tech stack, both parsers provided solid outputs. However, there is a slight difference in the Java skills. Textkernel parsed it correctly, while the AI CV parser missed a few years of experience for that particular skill. Moving on to educational details, Textkernel performed worse, as it failed to correctly identify the months of the education duration. In the Languages section, similar to the previous CV, Textkernel did not calculate the correct proficiency levels, whereas the AI CV parser handled them accurately. Regarding the training details mentioned earlier, Textkernel not only duplicated them but also failed to correctly parse the years in which they took place. Finally, in the Professional Experience section, both parsers captured all of the candidate's experience. However, Textkernel provides a somewhat confusing general description of the individual experiences compared to the AI CV parser, which delivers clearer summaries. Additionally, the AI CV parser presents a slightly more detailed tech stack. In conclusion, we believe that both parsers performed well on this CV, but the advantage goes to the AI CV parser. Although it misidentified the number of years of experience for the Java skill, it delivered accurate results across all other parameters. In contrast, Textkernel struggled with the educational details, certifications, and language proficiency, and overall produced more confusing descriptions in the Professional Experience section. The final example we want to show you is a non-IT CV. The CV contains dozens of professional experiences and is notable for its length and technical complexity. Firstly, we can see a significant difference in the number of years captured for the consultant's career. Textkernel passed only 22 years while the AI CV parser identified 31 years. This also impacts the number of projects extracted. On the right side, Textkernel captured only 11 projects, whereas on the left side, the AI CV Parser identified 25. Finally, there is a clear discrepancy in the tech stack, which the AI CV Parser recognizing 18 skills compared to just 2 detected by Textkernel. Regarding this last point, the AI CV Parser was able to detect skills outside the IT industry, whereas Textkernel did not. This gives the AI CV Parser an advantage in this section. However, neither parser managed to capture the 4 years of experience associated with each skill. In terms of educational details, Textkernel failed to detect the candidate's high school education. Although it is not a university degree, the AI CV Parser was able to identify it and categorize it correctly. When it comes to languages, both parsers successfully detected the candidate's languages, but neither managed to accurately capture the proficiency levels. For the training details, the Textkernel results contain duplicate certifications. The AI CV Parser performed better in this section, accurately capturing the full training entries from the original CV. In the area of professional experiences, we can clearly see where Textkernel fell short. It failed to capture any experience from 2013 onwards. In contrast, the AI CV Parser successfully extracted all experiences, covering the entire career history. Additionally, Textkernel did not provide general descriptions for individual entries, whereas the AI CV Parser generated accurate summaries based on the original CV. In conclusion, the AI CV Parser handled the CV much more effectively, especially in the tech stack, where it accurately captured skills specific to the candidate's industries, and in the professional experience section, where it successfully extracted every single experience and paired them with concise general descriptions. In contrast, Textkernel missed a significant portion of the candidate's career, effectively cutting it in half. So, in this benchmark, we can see that the AI CV Parser proves to be a more versatile solution. It can handle both smaller and larger CVs across different templates and various industry backgrounds. It generally performs better at differentiating language proficiency skills, detecting certifications and education, capturing most of all relevant skills in the tech stack, and building a professional experience section that closely reflects the candidate's CV. However, Textkernel performed better when parsing Europass CV, giving it an advantage for that specific format. Fortunately, with Sprint CV, you don't need to choose just one. You can leverage the strengths of both parsers. Simply head over to your company settings where you can select between 3 options. Use only the AI CV Parser, use only Textkernel, listed under its previous name Sovereign, or use both parsers, which is particularly useful if one of them becomes temporarily unavailable. We hope this benchmark has given you a clearer understanding of how both parsers work and how you can make the most of them within Sprint CV. If you have any suggestions or feedback, we'd love to hear from you.